Hello, third grade, and welcome to Science Module 5. We're going to focus on survival for this chapter. And your first lesson is going to be about animal group survival. So let's go ahead and watch our short video clip, and then we're going to jump right into our pages.
I know you are around here somewhere. I can hear you. Oh, hello. I'm Owen, and I'm searching for a Gryllus pennsylvanicus. That's a field cricket to most people. I love capturing photos of insects. I place the photos in my science journal and write about them. When I grow up, I want to be an entomologist. An entomologist is a scientist who studies insects. Did you know that there are still millions of insects scientists haven't discovered yet? Maybe someday I will discover one of them. There you are.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into our lesson. So like I said, we're in our unit on survival, or our chapter on survival. Lesson 1 is animal group survival. And we're going to go ahead and read the short passage that you guys have in your workbook. Now here it says, many animals interact with each other in groups. Put an X on all the boxes that describe how animals interact in groups. So put an X on all the boxes that you think shows how animals interact with each other and explain your thinking. Once you've completed that using complete sentences and paying attention to your spelling and punctuation, we're going to look at the digital interactive titled Animal Groups. And we're going to answer, why might animals live in groups and what questions do you have? So you're going to be answering one question, and then you're going to be writing some questions of your own. Once you've completed that, you'll read about the marine biologist and answer your questions on the following page, including the essential question. Give it your best shot. I know you guys don't know the answers for sure for your essential question yet, but we're going to learn it throughout the lesson. Let's go ahead and watch that digital interactive together.
Click on the slides to see groups of animals. Discuss how and why the animals live in groups.
All right, now as you can see, we've looked at a couple slides, and all of these have pictures of animals that live and work in a group. They have to work together for their survival. So what you're going to do for your page over here is you're going to explain or give your ideas on why animals might live in groups and what questions you have. Like we said, after you're done with that, you'll read this very short paragraph about the marine biologist, answer your 2 questions related to the passage, and your essential question, how does being part of a group help animals to survive? Once we've completed that, we have an activity titled Ant Workers. Now for this activity, you're going to think, how does working in a group help an ant colony? Ants work together to build bridges and trails. You'll build your own, and in a group, and compare the results. You will have 1 minute to build a road out of craft sticks across a desk. You'll be able to build a better road. Do you think you'll be able to build a better road by yourself or with a team? Go ahead and explain your answer here. Then you're going to follow the directions on the page and record your information on the following page. So the number of craft sticks in the road, if it's you working by yourself, the number of craft sticks, and describe your road. If it's 4 people in the group, and you're going to do that twice. Was your prediction correct? How did the road that you built by yourself compare to the road that you built as a team? What benefits are there to working as a team in an ant colony? Use your data to construct an explanation. So use what you found out during the experiment to tell me why you think that, and what different way did you try to work as a team? Once you've completed that section using complete sentences, checking your spelling and grammar, we're going to go on and take a look at our vocabulary for this lesson. Now we have 3 vocabulary words for this lesson. We have the word group, survive, and population. Let's go ahead and take a look at the vocabulary words and their meaning. A group is a number of living things that have some natural relationship. They're together for a reason. Either they hunt together, or they live together, or they're a family, and so on. To survive means to live and grow, and a population are all the members of one type of organism in an ecosystem. So if you're looking at a swamp ecosystem, for example, maybe you're looking at the population of dragonflies that live there. So you're counting how many of them live in that space. All right, we're going to watch animal groups on the different ways that animals work together. And then we're going to answer the questions after we finish. So question number 1 says, what are some advantages of living in a group? Question number 2, choose 2 animals from the video. How are these 2 groups the same and how are they different? Choose an animal group from the video. Think about how your family members take care of each other. How is your family like the animal group, and how is it different? So let's go ahead and watch our video. Keep these questions in mind while you watch. So if you find the answer, you can pause the video, go ahead and write down your answer using complete sentence, and then get back to it.
Many animals live in groups. Living in groups can have many advantages, such as working together to get food and defending themselves. Did you know that dolphins live in groups? A group of dolphins is called a pod. A pod of dolphins usually has between 2 and 40 dolphins, but could be even bigger. Dolphins in a pod work together to get food. One way they do this is by surrounding a school of fish, and then taking turns swimming through the middle to get their prey. The dolphins in a pod also work together to protect each other from predators and harm. If a shark tries to attack a dolphin, the dolphins in the pod will circle the shark and attack it. Female dolphins also help to protect the young dolphins in the pod. Ants live in groups called colonies. There could be hundreds, thousands, or even millions of ants in one colony. Each ant in the colony has a job to do. The queen ant lays eggs. The worker ants care for the queen and her young. They also work together to build and repair the nest, search for food, and fight off enemies. Wolves also live in groups. A group of wolves is called a pack. There are usually around 6 to 10 wolves in a pack. A pack of wolves work together to hunt for and capture their food. Wolves work together to defend themselves from predators too. All adult wolves in a pack help care for young pups by bringing them food and protecting them while others hunt. Cows also live in groups. A group of cows is called a herd. There are usually 40 to 50 cows in a herd. Cows enjoy grazing together in large grassy fields. Being in a herd protects the cows because large groups are safer. Bald eagles live in pairs. Once they find a mate, they stay together until one of them dies. Bald eagles work together to build their nest, which could weigh up to a ton and be about 8 feet wide. Once they have chicks, they work together to protect their young from predators. Bald eagle parents also work together to bring food to the nest for their young. Animals of all different sizes choose to live in groups. Two of the biggest advantages to living in groups is working together to find food and defending themselves from predators.
All right, now that we've gone through and watched our video, you're welcome to go ahead and rewind if you want to watch it one more time, then answer the questions. What are some of the advantages of living in a group? So what are some of the good things about living in a group? Pick 2 of the animals that you saw. How are their groups the same and different? And then think about your family and how you take care of each other. How is one of the family groups, how is your family similar to one of the animal groups, and how is it different? Once you've completed those questions, we're going to jump in and read our handout that's also titled Animal Groups on animals that work together and animals that work alone. We're going to answer the question after we finish. Our question here says, for some animals, it is better to live in groups. What are the advantages for those animals who live in groups? Number 5, What do you think would happen if an animal became separated from its group? Let's go ahead and pull up that handout. We're going to go ahead and read through it together. Animal groups. We are better together. Some animals survive better when they work together as a group. Animals from all different environments can work in a group with each member having a different role. The emperor penguin finds a mate and they stay together for their lifetime with other penguin pairs. The fathers tend to the eggs, keeping it warm in the cold climate. The mother penguins travel many miles to find food and bring it back to the father and baby penguin after it hatches. In ocean environments, certain types of fish will work together to avoid being eaten by a predator. Schools of anchovy fish swim together in order to confuse the bluefin fish that are trying to catch them. The bluefin cannot focus on one anchovy to catch because they swim quickly as a group. Flying solo. While many animals are social and work well in groups, there are some animals that are better off surviving alone. Honey badgers, for example, dig individual tunnels and areas to nest underground. They have also been known to fearlessly fight larger animals that are trying to attack. Another animal that tends to function by itself is the potter wasp. The insect is named after the shape of the nest it builds out of mud. Each nest is only for an individual wasp, where it will lay one individual egg. The potter wasp collects food for the egg, such as spiders and caterpillars, and places it in the nest. And here you'll see a picture of a honey badger on top and the potter wasp on the bottom. Now you'll go ahead and answer those questions. Some of the advantages for living in a group. And then this one is your opinion based on what you've learned. What do you think would happen if an animal became separated from its group? After you've answered those, we're going to take a look at this section titled Elephant Herd. We're going to explore the digital interactive and elephant herd on how elephants work together. Then we're going to answer the question after we finish. Our question for this section says, describe the roles within the elephant herd. So tell me what each person in the elephant herd does. Not each person, what each elephant in the elephant herd does. My apologies.
Open the hotspots to learn about an elephant herd. An elephant herd. Female herds. Female elephants live in herds made up of mothers, their daughters, and their young calves. Female herds. The matriarch. The oldest female is called the matriarch. She makes decisions for the herd. Calves. Baby elephants are called calves. Female calves will stay with the herd and learn from their mothers, aunts, and grandmother. Sisters and daughters. Younger females help each other with the birth and care for their calves.
Okay, so that's all of the different sections about an animal herd or about an elephant herd. So you can write about the female herds, the matriarch, the calves, and the sisters and daughters in each group. Make sure you explain what their roles are. They give you plenty of lines to make sure you can add lots of details there. Next, we're going to read the handout titled Who Works Together and Who Works Alone on how some animals live in groups and others live alone. Then we're going to answer the questions after we finish. Number 7 says, describe the differences between an animal that lives in a group and one that lives on its own. Number 8, what are the advantages of hunting alone instead of hunting as a group? So what's good about hunting alone? Number 9, explain why certain animals live together and others live alone. So these are our 3 questions that we're going to focus on while we read our handout. Let's go ahead and hop into it and we'll read it together. Who works together? Who works alone? Hyenas work as a pack to hunt their prey. They also can scare lions away from their prey using their large numbers. Female hyenas lead the pack. The entire pack lives together in the same den. Each pack member helps raise the hyena cubs. Working together helps the population of hyenas grow and survive. Female bison usually live together in family groups. Adult male bison only join groups during the breeding seasons. When female bisons give birth, they go away from the herd for a few days. When the bison calf can walk, the mother returns to the herd. The mother bison will work together to protect all the calves. Bison also work together to tear up grass and create patches of dirt. The bison take dirt baths in these patches to help keep the insects away and remove shaggy winter coats. A tiger is a large predator that needs a large amount of meat to eat. A tiger can bring down prey on its own, but it requires a lot of energy. The tiger will need to eat most of the prey to get that energy back. Tigers also live in forests and jungles, making it hard for them to communicate with each other. They would not be able to work together as a group to capture prey. It's much easier for them to do so alone. Being part of a group would not help a tiger to survive. Most snakes usually live alone. Snakes that live where it gets cold hibernate in the winter. Snakes that need to find a place to spend their winter. Snakes need to find a place to spend the winter that is dry and deep. There are not many places to choose from. Many snakes end up in the same space for the winter. Being together doesn't help the snakes or hurt the snakes. They are in groups because there isn't any other place to go. Snakes don't need to be in groups to survive. So that takes us to the end of our handout here. And this is going to be available for you guys to read on your own as well. I'm going to answer these questions. Describe the differences between animals that live in a group and ones that live alone. So give me details about each one. You have plenty of lines here to make sure you add lots of details to your answer. Number 8, what are advantages of hunting alone instead of hunting as a group? So you can go back and read about the tiger. That gave a lot of important information for this section. And number 9, explain why certain animals live together and certain animals live alone. And again, you can see that you have plenty of lines here, so you have a lot of room to add detail and use complete sentences. Once you've completed that page, we're going to jump into another handout that is titled All Different Sizes on the numbers of animals in animal groups. Then we're going to answer questions 10 and 11 over here. Question 10 says, describe the 2 needs that affect the size of a wolf pack. And number 11, do you think zebras or lions live in larger groups? And then explain. So let's go ahead and hop into our next handout, and that's titled All Different Sizes. The size of the group that an animal needs can vary greatly. Some animals work in groups with just a few other animals of their kind. Other animals work together in huge numbers. The size of the group usually depends on the group's needs. A wolf pack needs to be big enough to work together as a group to bring down prey. Once they have the prey, they have to share it with the whole group. Each wolf needs to get enough to eat, so the pack cannot be too large. The wolf pack will keep a certain number of wolves to meet those needs. So for wolf packs, you're not looking at these huge groups. You're looking at smaller groups because whatever they hunt needs to be enough to feed all of the wolves in that pack. So if the wolf pack is too big, it's not going to be enough food. So they keep their groups pretty small. Some birds form flocks of thousands of individuals. The more birds there are, the less likely it is that any one bird will get picked off by a predator. The large group can also confuse a predator and make it harder to select one bird to go after. The larger the group is, the better it is for each member of the group. The need to avoid predators in order to survive means that a very big group is best. So when you have an animal that's not a predator, when you have an animal that's generally considered prey, something that gets hunted or eaten, larger groups are safer because when a predator comes around, it's hard for them to keep their eye on just one that having such large numbers confuses them, and it makes it harder for them to catch. So go ahead and answer your questions. Do you describe the two needs that affect the size of a wolf pack? And do you think zebras or lions live in larger groups, and explain? All right. Now for the next page, we are not actually going to be doing this inquiry activity. We are going to skip this. And we're going to finish up our lesson on these next pages for our performance task. Recall the animal groups that you've studied in this lesson, or use a digital interactive animal groups from the previous section that we were on. Construct an explanation on how living in a group helps one of those animals to survive. Use observations and data as evidence to support your explanation. So basically what you're going to do in this section is you're going to think about animals that live in groups. You're going to give me a detailed explanation, so lots of examples on why living in a group and how living in a group is helpful to that particular kind of animal. Use observations, so things that you've seen and information that you've gathered to support your explanation. So tell me why and give me reasons. And then we're going to think back to the beginning of our lesson, think about the photos of the animal groups at the beginning of the lesson, use those examples to explain how living in a group helps some animals to survive. Once you've completed that, you'll be done with this lesson. It was pretty short. Make sure you review all the information that we've gone over so that you're ready for your quiz on this lesson. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day. Take care. Bye-bye.